And Lee, it's all yours.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Pajamas and Coffee Society podcast. Thank you for joining us. Today, we have a very special guest, Crystal. Thank you for joining us, Crystal.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. We featured her on the Wednesday Spotlight, so we got to get a little bit of her background, her journey, but she's here today to expand on that. And we are excited to have her and look forward to what she has to share with us and what we can all learn and be inspired by. So, we're going to have Marisa take it away with the questions.
So, Crystal, first of all, we're all very happy that you're here with us because, as we spoke previously, I have known about you and known a little bit about your story for a while now, but I didn't have the personal connection with you. That's something that's very important in our business. And so that's why, selfishly, this is really just for Lee and myself today, nobody
Mhm.
else, because that it gives us a chance to get to know you as a
Yes.
person better. Because again, it's different seeing somebody on social media and seeing the story that they project. But it doesn't have the same context as the silliness and the everyday adventures of who we are as entrepreneurs. So that's really we wanted to focus on. So again, like Lee said, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. And before we get into the questions, though, I just have to point out the elephant in the room that Lee and I did not coordinate today. Our outfits were not planned. This is just shows a
We did not
testament
discuss this.
of how long we've been friends. So I just wanted to get the elephant in the room out of the way. So there you go. That's what happens in the world of Lee and Marisa and our adventures. So because we're definitely, you can tell Crystal. In fact, I got to tell you this because Lee knows this obviously, that we actually share wardrobes. So there is a good chance there's times where I'll look at her and she'll be wearing something. I'm like, that is really cute. She's like, you bought it. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. So that's how much, yeah. She tells me I'm her personal shopper now. Just whatever, just buy it. It's okay. It'll be fine. So
That's
it worked
nice.
out. So this was
Awesome.
not planned. So I just had to get that out of there. But we wanted to start out by first of all asking you, how long have you been an entrepreneur? What was it that sparked you becoming an entrepreneur? And then we'll segue into the question about how you are overcoming some of the things. So if you would just start out by telling us a little bit about your journey.
Well, thank you again for having me on today. I'm very honored to be a guest on your podcast. I have, I'm pretty new in my entrepreneurial journey. About 9 months ago, I started sharing my progress about my burn injury and my recovery from that online through my own personal YouTube channel and then through different social media outlets. And so I'm just pretty new to it all. And I officially established my digital media company um, June 15th of 2023. So just a little bit, almost 6 months old.
Isn't it?
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Isn't it crazy? Like you start out day one and now you're already looking up and saying, oh, okay, 6 months.
Yeah, it's
It goes
like
quick.
blink and it goes quick. I just am submitting my first, little download of expenses to the bookkeeper and stuff. So,
But congratulations. That's always a good thing too. So the first question that we really wanted to ask you was about how you deal with the feeling of I don't want to say imposter syndrome, even though we wrote it down for you to think about because it shouldn't be imposter syndrome. Unfortunately, it becomes imposter syndrome in our head. So really, how have you dealt with the influence of being new and getting past beginner status and getting yourself up every day to do this when it is new? So, yes, the official umbrella is imposter syndrome, but we're going to look at it in a positive light. Say, when you're new, what did you do? How did you get past it?
so early on, I started tracking my progress by, I had created my own little mantra for myself. And it reminds me to find humor in each day as well to keep me on task for my activities of daily living for myself and to um, just to remind myself to love myself and to do some of my physical therapy things, and it's my own LMFAO mantra. So
Mhm.
the L is to love yourself first. And my first sale of the day is me. And
That's
I look in
awesome.
the mirror and I tell myself it costs a lot of money to look this good. Let's
There
just show
you
them how
go.
to do it. And
Very good.
so
Love it.
that's one thing I do. And then the M stands for make your bed. And so that counts as physical therapy for me too. At one
Mhm.
point in my journey, I couldn't do that. So get up and I'm thankful that I have a bed to make and that I
Mhm.
can walk around the bed and make it. So I do it every day. And then have faith that the universe is working in your favor, not against you. And to just have a positive forward outlook that even though the situation may not be ideal, that it's getting you to a higher place.
Yeah.
And the A is to acknowledge your accomplishments and to be 1% better each day. So quality over quantity. And the O is oxygen, breathe. Sometimes all you can do is just breathe through the next few moments and then repeat it until it's bearable. My personal mission statement has also just kept me on track. And like we talked about before, is that my ethics statement now, it just keeps me focused. And like when I'm overwhelmed, I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? Let's see. And I can just go back to my personal mission statement. And
Mhm.
I created that early on in my journey through my studies, through um, my entrepreneurial education. And my personal mission statement is demonstrating daily with the right environment, tools, direction, and support. Anyone can live an awesome life.
Love
And I
it.
truly believe that. And so when I'm struggling, I'm like, okay, anyone can live an awesome life. You're
Mm.
demonstrating it daily. So what tools do you need? What in your environment can you change? Can you go for a walk? Can you take a breath? Can you ask for some help?
Mm.
How can you vocalize that in the most responsible and professional way? And so those are some of the little things that I do.
Well, honestly, I think you are missing your calling as a self-help next Tony Robbins guru. So I'm just putting that out there that maybe nobody has said that yet. So you can one day say that we called it first.
Write
So
that down, Crystal. It's gonna happen.
yes, recorded. So we said it first, but you are honestly just your answer right there was just so inspiring.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm big on making my bed every day too, just because when I walk through the house during the day, I like seeing order. You know what I mean? And having everything cleaned up because then at the end of the day, it's not a mushy bed that you're crawling into. That's always just been my thing. But you saying that you should be grateful or being that you are grateful for having a bed, that is just beautiful. Like, and the fact that just something as simple as making your bed means so much to you. I appreciate that too, so much because if anybody has not dealt with a serious injury, illness, lifelong alteration, it's incredible. The simplest of things can become the biggest rewards once you accomplish them again. So I totally relate and appreciate you. Just your depth increased my grace today. So thank you for that. That
Well,
was
thank you.
beautiful. So our other question along the lines, and I feel like I hesitated there because you kind of already answered that in such a great way. I guess it's more in the looking forward as you project forward. What have you put in place to help yourself from derailing in the future?
Like I said, the personal mission statement and like you said, the ethics manifesto. And I also go to therapy regularly. Like I go to physical therapy, I go to behavioral health therapy, like a therapist to
That's
talk out my
awesome.
feelings.
Hmm.
Because there's a lot of things that I'm dealing with right now that I'm rehashing old stuff. So a therapist that is not your friend, not your mom, that can say, "Hey, I know these feelings are like overwhelming, but they're normal." And that's been probably one of the biggest things for me is just to have somebody else outside my circle to talk to.
That's wonderful. I believe everybody needs that, not just when the occasion arises. I believe that that should be a normal part of your calendar because we all need that context. And things come up every day, week, month, and to process and to find its proper place. And I love therapists because they are actually paid to tell you when you are misbehaving, plain and simple, at least. That's the way I've always thought of it. Like we all need that, because people that love us will forgive unconditionally when they truly unconditionally love us. Somebody's got to hold us by the stronger standard.
Yeah.
For us to reach
Exactly.
them. Yeah, so I think it's a wonderful thing that you are an advocate for having that in your life. That is wonderful. That's absolutely beautiful. So I did want to get into your business a little bit more of like the overview and talk to you about who is it that you're trying to reach and who are you trying to help with your journey as an entrepreneur.
So, who my ideal client base is early stage burn survivors
Okay.
who are going through similar situations that I've been through, or who are trying to navigate the self sufficiency aspect of how do I navigate life after permanent disability, permanent injury. That like it took a long time for me to not be angry
Mm-hmm.
that I was why me, or why is all this happening? There's a lot of that. And so I just, that's my ideal client is now that I've overcome it, how can I
Yes.
give a hand up, not a hand out, but a hand up? Like,
Mhm.
this is what I found to help me. And these are the little resources that I found. And how can I direct you onto that path for yourself?
Would it be safe to say, or ask you this question, that there isn't a guidebook out there? There isn't a true path of how. And the reason I've thought about this a lot is there's a gentleman that is talking to us professionally to help him with his content and growth and online. And he is the survivor of a brain tumor. And his biggest complaint is after you're done with chemo, whatever course that they use, it's kind of like out the door, good luck. There's no processing. There's no, this is how you maintain or how to feel about it. It's just, we're done.
Right.
That's it. And I believe, again, because the medical professionals need to do their job, so I'm not knocking them whatsoever. We're grateful for every one of them. But the mental health aspect of processing and adjusting and learning, is there a guidebook? Is there
No,
this is
there's not really a guidebook.
what I thought. Yes.
Um, the Some of the organizations who
Mhm.
I have recently connected with through my own injury, there are traumatic brain injury research. It's like a big research company umbrella, and it's called the Model Systems Knowledge Translation Center.
Oh,
It's
wow.
kind of a big name for this
Mhm.
research company that they are the ones that create the medical journals about like talking about the injuries that are sustained, and so there's brain injury, spinal cord injury, and burn injury under that umbrella for this research company. So there's so many publications within their website and all of the stuff that I have access to now that
Mhm.
I was like, oh my goodness, how do I, like, yep, you're doing this already, and there people are reaching out to you. Now you're an ambassador.
Wonderful.
And so,
Congratulations.
it wasn't that easy, but that's pretty much like I asked them.
Mhm.
I'm networking within the community. Other people have asked me for help and asked me to explain how I'm doing things, and I refer them to your publications anyway. So how can we work together, and for because I don't want to take credit for it, but
Mhm.
I do want to be directing them properly.
Correct. Yes.
And
Well, that's
so
wonderful.
I connected with them, and they were like, "Oh, yay, yes, this is how you do it." They gave me the rundown of the website, and I'm allowed to use their badges on my content now.
That's
And
wonderful.
it's those are just little things that learning how to network well while you're trying to overcome it has been very beneficial for me.
Yes, I would believe, because again, there is a my word, so I'm not assuming that this is how you felt, but going through a lifelong illness myself, there is a bit of loneliness some days is attached to it. You feel like um, my mom has, it's genetic, so I can speak for her as well, that you're left behind. There are days you just can't, when everybody else, like children going out to do something, or there's an event for school or anything, a sports game, that you cannot, because that's a bad day. It's a health day that you have to address, that it's a bit lonely. So having a community is so, so important. And honestly, I wish I would have had it a long time ago myself. But obviously, you have support in your personal life. I know from watching you on social media, you have an amazing, amazing network. But creating that network to be bigger for other victims that have gone through similar situations, or should I say survivor? I apologize. I should ask you what your word is. I apologize. Which would you
You don't have to apologize. It's a learning experience.
Yes.
And at first, when you are burned, you feel like a burned victim. And so it's navigating that language. There's my psychiatrist within when I'm still in the hospital helped me navigate some of that language.
Okay.
But don't feel bad. You're fine.
No, it's
I
just
say
something
burn survivor. I
yeah.
say burn survivor because
Yes.
I don't. To me, victim is. I try not to have a victim mindset because
Yes. That's
um,
exactly what I was asking. Yes.
there are other things that contribute to that as well that we won't get into today. But
Mhm.
I am not a victim, and I'm a survivor, and
Yes,
I've
you
been
are.
through a lot. And uh, the moment I was saved of my injuries, I knew that my higher power had a higher purpose for me. And we
Absolutely.
all have something to contribute. And so, how can I connect the dots for somebody else? And that's where I'm.
Well, thank you for understanding. But that's why I ask, is because to me, a term like that is so personal and depends on where somebody's at in their journey. You nailed it right away. When it happens, you are going to feel like a victim, and rightfully so. But that transition is the mental state to say, now I'm a survivor. So I wanted to make sure that I was properly using your terminology as my reason for asking, because we work with other groups, with other people that are on their path from being victim to survivor. And that's something that I've always tried to be very conscious of. I know Leah's as well. We try to always respect where is somebody in their journey, and that word is theirs. It doesn't matter which word, because that's up to them.
Right.
Because victim can be negative, but it also can be positive, as in acceptance to move forward.
Exactly.
So that's
Mhm.
why I wanted to ask you that. So thank you for being patient with me there. I appreciate it. Lee, did you have anything to add to? Because I don't want to cut you off and just keep fire hosing her with questions here.
No, I mean I'm just loving hearing her story and how she's been able to really use her experience to help others
Yes.
in in the same um, vein as also helping herself. So
Yes.
she, by her being able to help someone else, she is helping herself. And I love that, Crystal, that you developed a positive mindset early on. And I know I'm positive that took some time to do and some effort on your part, but it's a beautiful thing because when you have that mindset, then your goal is automatically to help other people develop that mindset that
Yes.
have gone through the same experiences. So I just really appreciate your story and your positivity and the things that you're doing for others. It's a beautiful thing. So I'm just enjoying listening to the.
Okay. Well, I want to make sure we weren't cutting you out of the conversation. So, Crystal, then what would be the message you're trying to convey? If this podcast was just accessed by the right person that needed it at the right time, because we know it will be, even if it is a month from now, 6 months from now, whenever, just being able to connect with your story, what is it that you would like to tell them?
anything is possible if you believe in yourself.
There you go. I don't think you need more than that. I think that is beautiful, just the way it is. That's wonderful. So, what is it that, okay, we're trying to reach other victims that and survivors that have gone through this path, but maybe a bit lost, need community, need somebody else to say it's going to be okay. And they find Ambassador Crystal and connect with you. And that's just such a wonderful thing. So, I want to know behind the scenes as an entrepreneur dealing with health issues and a continual need to address your own health. That's always going to be the most important part. So what is it that you would say is your shining moment? You're like, okay, in the last 6 months, I've accomplished this, and this is like, I can't believe I did this. This is so new. Whatever it may be, what is it that you've accomplished that you're like, okay, if I did that, I could do this.
I just recently earned my first Amazon commissions.
Oh, congratulations. Great. Awesome.
Through just promoting a set of headphones that I use every day. Not these, but I use another set. But I just got commissions on that, and
good for you.
It came in, and I was like, there's zeros. There's not zeros where there's numbers where there was zeros. I was like that, and it says earnings, and I was like, oh my goodness. I put the pieces together, and I wasn't a whole lot.
That but doesn't matter.
If you do it once, if you can sell $1, you could sell $50,000.
Yep.
You know, and you just nailed it, because people do not realize if you only use social media, for example, for personal, there is a million tiny steps to get one thing visible. And like that with Amazon, if that's an avenue that you're using to create income for yourself, I don't even venture into that world because there's so many little steps. I'm like, I just don't have the time. That's the reason. It doesn't matter if it was a penny. You must celebrate it, because it does take a lot of work, time, and effort to get any programs together for your company. So we were going to join you and celebrate and be like I said, I don't care if it was a penny. Congratulations. That is awesome. And I understand why you were so incredibly happy about it. So, okay, then I have one other question. And then if we get into anything else, we can, of course, too. But I really wanted to ask you this. This was very important about what is your big goal, like the big picture, 2-3 years from now? What is the vision that you are creating as an entrepreneur?
So my big scary goal is I am practicing and learning and researching to speak publicly about, excuse me. I am practicing and researching to speak publicly about visible differences in the burn community and ultimately mental health crisis. Mm-hmm. And so navigating that, those are some hot topics for a lot of people. And I have pretty good firsthand experience in those situations. And so being able to confidently present the topics that I'm talking about without getting emotional, and with getting to bring awareness to the things that we in the burn community and the facial difference community face every day, even when we go out in the public. I've created my own little world here in my office, but it's a whole different beast as soon as I step out the door.
I believe it. And again, like I could tell you stories, we all can as parents, like the first time our children ask why somebody looks different or dressed different, and they do it out of innocence, but we have to have that conversation with our child. And I remember that when my middle son was, I think, 3 in Walmart, and he said something very loudly. I'm like, oh boy, let's go talk about this, because again, it's innocence. That's okay. I can handle innocent children. I cannot handle ignorance. And again, unfortunately, because of lack of education, ignorance sometimes is a part of it. With my own situation with my daughter coming out, I had to learn with her. That's not a situation that I was already prepared for, but I wanted to learn with her. So I think the willingness to learn and educate is huge. And it's got to be very, very complex for yourself because you're still healing. You're still doing all of the things actively for your own personal health, mental health, all of these things. But advocating for other people is just, it's a huge weight that you are willingly accepting for the world. And that's just incredible. And you are totally now one of my heroes.
Yes.
You're going to have to accept that status, whether you like it or not, that we're going to be like, yeah, we want to be like Crystal when you grow up because your positivity alone.
On my office wall, it says heroes.
Oh.
It says heroes in flames. And so I am my own hero every day, but
Amazing.
I know that just from the interactions online that the people that I speak with already, they're like, you are my hero.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate the opportunity to share my story.
Yes.
I did want to share a little bit on the topic of children and my burn injury. So the part of the reason why I knew that I could speak publicly about my burn injury is because the first person that really was like so blunt about my burn injury, she's like, "What happened to your face?" And I was like, "Well, I was in a bad fire. And now I'm part mermaid." And I showed her my arm where my skin graft is, and it looks like kind of like fish scales. I said, "Well, I was in a bad fire, and now I'm part mermaid." And it just, she was like so astonished. She was like, "Mom, I met that girl's part mermaid."
Oh, beautiful.
And so I was able to, at first I was like shocked. I was like, out of the mouths of babes. I'm like,
Yes.
how are we going to navigate this? Could I just tell her I'm part mermaid now? Because I have mermaids if you could see my mermaid behind me.
Mm-hmm.
I, that I relate to that. And I actually have a mermaid on my office wall too.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
That's beautiful. I love it. And that's you.
Yep.
That's beautiful. But that is the point that children are adaptable and also they can become the biggest advocates for change in this world. We just have to have the courage to tell them the truth.
Exactly. Not sure.
That's-
Like, I didn't want to sugarcoat it and I didn't want
No,
to
that's
lie to
beautiful.
her. They like, kids know when you're lying to them
Yeah.
too.
And being moms ourselves, we know that we want our children to be not just adaptable, but also to be open arms, loving with as many people as possible and not to be judgmental. So again, going back to what I had said before we started recording, that if we can impact one person a day, so that day you got to impact the future generation.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. So, Lee, is there anything you want to add or ask Crystal that wasn't on the list? And don't worry, we won't throw you under the bus and give you any crazy off the wall question. Well, Lee might. I'm not going to, but
No. No, but you know what I do want to know? I want to know what's in the future for Crystal.
yes, there you go.
So I plan to travel more in the next coming months, and I plan to share some content about my travels and some very exciting things coming up in the next couple months for me.
Wonderful.
So stay tuned, and I will be sharing my many adventures.
So I do actually have a follow-up question to that, Lee. So my question is, when is the book coming out?
Yeah, that was going to be my question.
Your podcast coming out, and when is your TED Talk?
So the TED Talk is to be determined.
Okay.
Within the next 3 years, I'm hoping.
There you go. Okay, you put it in the universe now. Now it has to happen, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, it's about to be 2024. So by 2027.
Perfect.
And the book, my original publish goal when I first started, and I didn't understand how much goes into publishing a book and all of the things that I want to share. I have about a 42-month outline that I'm talking about in my book. And so the original publishing date was March of 2023, and so that has been pushed out now till 2025. So I plan to be published by 2025 with
Wonderful.
the book is The Burn, the Broken, and the Beautiful, a memoir of me by
Oh,
Crystal Raye.
Beautiful. Well, you have your first two readers right here and
Yes.
readers as well, for sure. And we will help you. And again, why we're doing this inside of Pj&C is exactly a woman like you, Crystal, is because we want to help you build your support. We want people to know you because when coming from the world of marketing the way we do, you could have the most beautiful, brilliant piece of content ever, and if you have 2 followers, it's not going to reach the right person. Same thing with a book or with a podcast or anything. It takes time and energy behind the scenes, a lot of it, to get to the right audience. So what most people think when they use social media for social is that we're just doing this to be more popular. Not at all. We're doing this to reach the right person, not even persons, person. So if anybody doesn't understand, I completely agree. And Crystal, taking that time to properly have the right audience in place before you start your book or before it's released is perfect. So I think actually you have a better handle on your timeline than anybody. So I applaud you and I
Thank you.
congratulate you. I think, but I will tell you the same thing that Lee and I talk about all the time, that you are 6 months in. I'd love to have this exact same conversation 1 year from today. Not that it's going to probably be exactly possible, but somewhere around the same time next year, because I 100% could put a bet down right now that your vision is going to quadruple in a year, and what you are doing within the burn community will quadruple. Everything's going to grow, shift, change, blossom in the next year, 2 years, 5 years, obviously, but the vision you see right now is nothing compared to what you'll see even a year from now. So we're just encouraged and we want to know your vision as it unfolds. We'd love to have you back, have this conversation to further it again. And as you have new projects coming out too, we would love to support you on our podcast. So you can use this podcast too to talk about different avenues that are coming together that you're going to be promoting. By all means, the door is open to have this conversation further. So, Lee, if you want to finish us off, if you want to go for it, go for it. You have been an awesome co-host. Love doing this with you, Lee. Got to say, I know I get to say that every time, but I really got to say it every time.
Now, I do
really
want to ask. No, thank you. What social media platforms are you on?
Yes,
do you want to share those with?
Yes.
So other people can follow.
So I right now am really focused on Facebook and YouTube, and I'm on LinkedIn, and that's something that I am learning. But right now, I'm really focused on Facebook and YouTube.
Okay, and it's is it Crystal Raye?
So it's Crystal Raye on YouTube, and it's Crystal Raye on Facebook. And it's also, my website is under construction. It'll be crystalraye.com.
Perfect. Well, I would encourage anybody inside of our group. This, just so you know, Crystal is right now going out inside of the Facebook group when we post the episodes, but it's also going out on YouTube. But in the next couple of days, we are actually connecting to get this on other platforms too. So we just want to let everybody know, if you're not a part of the Pajama and Coffee Society Facebook group, please get in touch with us, send us a message, because we're going to be having a lot more of these conversations just with Crystal alone. So we're just going to make her a regular, where it's a revolving door. We just call her, we're like, hi, it's us again.
Well, I'm definitely going to put it on the calendar for December 3rd next year.
Yes,
we'll look at it.
I think that is a brilliant idea, because I would love to have this conversation just so you also, us vicariously and selfishly, want to know your progress, but for yourself, just to see, okay, this is what we talked about in 2023. This is where I'm at in 2024, because I guarantee it's going to be epic. It's going to be amazing. Oh, so all right, it's a date. It's going in the calendar 1 year from now. Okay, perfect. So Lee, do you want to go ahead and close us out then?
I sure will. So again, thank you everyone for joining us. This podcast will be broadcast this coming Tuesday. And on Wednesday, we'll have another spotlight. Mondays, you get to spend 8 to 8:30 with me.
And Central Time.
Central Time. And on Wednesday, Marisa will be on same time, Central Time. And then Friday, we do our live together. Again, same time, 8 to 8:30, somewhere around there, Central Time. So we hope that you all will take a peek. If you can't watch it at the time, because I know it's early, but you catch it on the replay. And I just want to say thank you. Wonderful having you, Crystal. Wonderful hearing your story. It's going to be a beautiful thing watching you progress. And I'm just looking forward to everything that's coming your way. So thank you. And like we always like to say, if you can do it, if we can do it,
there you go.
you can do it.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Believe in yourself.
Yes, exactly.
I think that's a perfect way to sum it up. So,
Yes.
Crystal, thank you. And you will, without me even asking her, I'm just going to say this. You will be seeing Crystal on one of the Friday morning lives coming up, because we're going to be inviting entrepreneurs to come on and have roundtable discussions with us. So we'll be discussing with her when. So you'll see her pop up again in the Pj&C group. See,
Definitely.
you didn't realize you just got another ambassador title without even realizing it. So there you go.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you for the
perfect.
experience.
Of course.
All right.
Well, thank you so much. And we will go ahead and see everybody back for the next episode again with a different guest, or sometimes just Alethea and myself having conversations expanded from what we talk about in our lives. So we will be back next time with our next episode. And thank you so much, Crystal.
Thank you.
Many blessings. Goodbye.